If I keep it one. It got it at the top. There you go. Let's go ahead and hit both of them. Hit admit all. That one should be on.
Thank you, Rick.
There we go.
We're all here. Mark, Jim?
Yes, Mark's here.
James here. Good afternoon.
Okay, so we're all here. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, guys.
No problem. Wasn't
And,
sure if it was me. Wasn't sure if it was me or you.
Yeah, no, it was definitely me, trust me.
Yeah.
So in order
Technology is
to
great when it works.
continue, in order for us to continue having this, I'm going to step in for Mark today. So I'm Andrea.
Okay. Hey, Andrea.
Andrew, how are you?
Hey, Jim. So are we ready, Joe?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Jim, you got everybody?
We're here.
Yes.
Mark and I are gonna hit. Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty. So we're here today to talk about Administrative Adjustment Case 2601. And do both of you have the intention of speaking during this, or do you just...
Oh, Andrea, my intention was to just answer any questions or concerns that might come up during the presentation.
Okay, so not actually physically doing any kind of like testifying or anything.
Correct.
Okay. And Mark, is that how you feel?
Yeah, that's exactly how I figured. I've read the letter that was sent in advance, and that all looked good to me. So I really don't have anything either.
Okay. Typically we ask you to swear in, but it does not matter if you don't plan on doing any kind of testifying. But Jim,
Right.
I'm gonna ask you to do it just for 1 sec, that you raise your hand and that you affirm that any of the evidence that you present today to me as a representative of the zoning administrator, that it's the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
It is. I will.
All right. Thank you so much. So what we'll do is we'll follow a familiar process. So staff's going to provide a summary of the staff report. We'll open it up. The applicant can, if there's any kind of things that you also want to share that maybe wasn't in the staff report. There isn't anyone from the public here, but typically we do offer it, in case anybody from the public wanted to speak. Also at that time, if there's any new information by the applicant, we do offer the city a chance to rebuttal as well as the applicant. I don't necessarily know that it will be needed in this, but I just wanted to set out the process.
Sure.
So, Joe, whenever you are ready.
Okay, so this is for administrative adjustment for 2601, entering the entire staff report into the record. It's for 285 to 289 East Green Street, and the applicant is requesting 3 adjustments. The first one is from section 164-111B, pardon me, an adjustment from the required 69 parking spaces to permit 55. So they're asking for a reduction of 14 spaces. The second one is 164-45B C, an adjustment from the required 5-foot parking area setback from Washington Road right of way to permit a 4-foot setback. So they're asking for a reduction of 1 foot. And the last one is section 164-115D3, an adjustment from the 25-foot parking area drive aisle to permit a 24-foot parking drive aisle. So they're asking for a 1 foot reduction in for 2 of the drive aisles. You see what the history was on the background. As we go to page 2, the property was posted on May 4th. Letters were sent on May 3rd to all the adjoining property owners. The date and time were in the letters as well as on the sign. And then on May 9th, a copy of the agenda was posted on the city's website. Section 3, pursuant to the annotated land use code and the city zoning ordinance, the planning director is authorized to grant administrative adjustments from the following requirements. And you can see those A through F. So the process, the goes through how the mayor and common council adopted the resolution to allow for administrative adjustments, and it goes through how the director is authorized to grant an administrative adjustment if it wouldn't violate the spirit, intent, and the requirements or likely cause substantial injury to public health, safety, or general welfare. So the site development plan 24-21 was resubmitted, placed on the planning commission agenda for next week. The applicant has submitted water and sewer applications. When the new tenants are proposed, the water and sewer applications will need to be updated to for the potential additional water use that is needed. So going through there, as I mentioned, there's three things the applicant's requesting. We'll go through each one because there's three criteria for each one. The first one is the reduction in parking spaces. Again, the applicant is requesting a 14 space parking parking space adjustment. So the applicant is in the parking district, which affords them a 95 or a 25% reduction by being located in the downtown parking area. This reduces the number of parking spaces needed from 92 to 69. The applicant can provide 55 spaces on the lot. Staff did suggest that the applicant park the entire site at retail standards to avoid coming back as well. So that's part of the reason for the applicant to come back. And it should be noted that the owner of this property owns two other corners on Green Street and forget the other street. Help me out. Washington Road.
Washington Road.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
And one of those has available parking, and the applicant can discuss that. This property is located in the downtown business zone. Staff suggested again that the applicant plan for the building to be all retail. And again, that's the cause for the administrative adjustment on this one. And staff does not believe there will be any hardship to adjacent properties due to this administrative adjustment. Andrea, do you want to go through all three at one time, or would you like to stop, pause, and move forward?
Jim, did you want to offer any comment based on the first set? Or do you want to wait till the end?
I think my comments are going to kind of generally going to address all of these issues. But with regard to the parking, Joe did mention that there is common ownership at the northeast corner of Washington and Green Street and the southwest side, which is Maggie's. So we would anticipate any parking overflow or any need for additional parking would kind of would be alleviated with those two other properties.
Joe,
But I
why
think
don't you-
that the reality is we are actually decreasing square footage and increasing parking. So I know we're under what's required by zoning or the regulations, but we're adding substantially to the amount of parking that's currently available in the downtown business district. So
That is true, Andrea, and I'm
for
sure
whatever that's worth.
just to point it out, they're taking down the wooden structure that is on Green Street and replacing that with additional parking.
Which
So that
is an
would be-
eyesore. I mean, it's a hideous old falling down building that was never built well from the very beginning.
Right, so I assume you can see my cursor, but that's this area right down here.
Okay,
Okay, we can move on to number 2. The applicant is requesting, as I mentioned before, an adjustment from the required 5-foot parking area setback from Washington Road right away to permit a 4-foot parking area setback, and that's a reduction of 1 foot. And I believe that is right along here, if I'm not mistaken. So going down through the three things, and I apologize for the numbering of the three items. Again, the first one, the applicant is requesting a 1-foot adjustment. The property is currently developed and the applicant is trying to maximize space for parking. And this is also a developed site, as we have mentioned before. So staff has no objections to this. For the second one, The property is located in the downtown business zone. Staff suggested the applicant come back in and maximize the number of parking spaces to avoid coming back to the planning commission as the uses change over time. And there will be no hardship to adjacent properties due to these administrative adjustments. Again, the location of this request is located at the corner of East Green and Washington Road. So it really doesn't affect any other properties. It's up against the right of way.
Okay.
Jim, do you want to say anything or?
No, I'd like to also mention that the immediate property to the west, I've met twice with that property owner and have shared with him this plan, and he's been fine with what we're proposing.
Okay. And then the third request is the adjustment from the 25-foot drive aisle. The applicant has two 20-foot drive aisles. And again, if you can see my cursor, the first one's right here and the second one is right here. So they're requesting a 1-foot administrative adjustment from both of those areas. And again, going down the 3 items. So the spaces are 9 by 18. The drive aisle is 24 feet. And again, they still meet the intent of the 60-foot, if you had the 2 parking spaces and the 24-foot drive aisle, they still meet the intent of the 60-foot overall dimensions of the parking spaces. And again, as we mentioned, it's sort of redundant going over the same thing, but the applicant did tear down the wooden structure along Green Street. And again, they're trying to maximize spaces, parking spaces. And it would be very difficult to encroach any more towards the building as, to extend the drive aisle the additional foot. Because they can't extend it to the south because you'd be running up against Green Street then. And again, since this variance is internal to the site, it really doesn't affect any other property. And so staff didn't have a problem with this administrative adjustment of a foot in 2 areas.
Jim, is there anything you wanted to say? You had said that you wanted China overall had comments.
Yeah, one thing I would just like to note is that this project was presented twice to the Historic District Commission. Initially as the first time as an initial presentation, and then the second time we submitted a detailed report, and we received a favorable review from the commission on both occasions. And really what we're trying to do is maintain the main structure that's on the site, and with that also accommodate the required amount of parking, a little bit of a balancing act, and we certainly appreciate the city's recognizing the level of effort that went into doing that.
Anything else, Joe, that you would like to say?
No, just going on the last page. I mean, we have the staff recommendations, and basically we recommended approval of the 3 proposed administrative adjustments. And just for the record, on the website, it did have the staff report and the applicant's application on there as well. So I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning.
Okay.
And that is all from the staff report.
Is there anything else that anybody wants to say?
No.
Nope, no, thank you.
So I'm going to address this backwards. I'm sorry, but I want to talk about, I'm fine with granting the going from the 25-foot parking area drive aisle to 24. So that's good. Also,
Okay.
the adjustment required from the 5-foot to the 4-foot setback, we're good on that as well.
Okay.
Just want to talk a little bit more about number 1, and I want to get those things out of the way first. So I did some research as to finding out how many parking spaces the Maggie's restaurant needed that was using in that across the street parking area. According to the simplified site plan that was done in 2021, the 3 parking spaces were required from that smaller parking lot to go to Maggie's. So that leaves 6 open spots that I would say can go towards this, meeting up the requirements that you need. So that breaks it down to 8, from your 14 required to 8. I'd like to give you a reduction of 4 of those parking spaces, leaving that there would only be 4 that would be left over. I'm sure that throughout the process, Mark has discussed with you that there is, since you're inside the downtown parking area, there is the opportunity for you to buy out of the parking requirement. I think that so Mark, you might not know this, but Jim does know this. So I deal heavily with water, and that's what I do on a daily basis. And what I tell people is that you should always plan for that most intense, the more intense of the use regarding the water and the parking, which I know you did for the water and sewer allocation application too. So that if you have, when you come in and you might want to have a lesser use, you don't have to go through this process again.
Right.
And that's why, because you guys have done that and you are having the 55 parking spaces on site and really have done what you can to maximize on site, that's why I thought the reduction of the 4 spaces was, I think that was appropriate for
I
all of the work
appreciate
that you
that.
guys have put in.
Thank you.
And so these comments would need to be on the plan, Jim, as saying, that administrative adjustment came forward on May 12th of 2026 as part of administrative adjustment 2601, and, and stating those 3. I would say also that there should be an inset map on at least one of the pages that also includes that parking area across the street. So when we're talking about parking being that we're able to use 6 spaces from that site, there should be something that shows that. When we did the administrative, I'm not administrative, I'm sorry, when we did the simplified site plan for Baggies in 2021, we did a little bit more of a zoomed out look that included that parcel so that we could say that, those additional parking spaces were there.
Okay. We can do
Great.
that. We can do that.
Okay. If you guys, unless you guys have any additional questions, I don't have anything else to say. I think that what you guys are doing really great on site, and I look forward to seeing everything that happens.
Thank you. We are too.
So, just some housekeeping. Is there going to be an official letter or issued or?
Yes, we'll put together an official just kind of a little summary of of this meeting. And
Did
we'll
the cost of buying, I'm sorry, did that cost go down recently? Did I hear that cost for buying out those parking spots initially or annually?
not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I believe that there's talks about it, but nothing formally has been introduced yet.
Okay.
So, but that's something also that you can talk to Mark about as well.
Sure. Okay.
And just
Alright.
as a housekeeping note as well, Andrea, so this is scheduled for the May Planning Commission, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's still on that track, so the staff reports into Mark. I'm talking to Jim and Mark now. The staff reports into Mark. He hasn't given me back. He's been out last 2 days sick, but I expect edits to come back, and when I get the final report, I will ship it off to you all so you can take a look at it. My initial report, there wasn't anything scathing. It was more noteworthy, as Andrea mentioned. I mentioned putting the 3 notes on the plan about the administrative adjustment and the date and that kind of stuff. And there was a few other minor things, but nothing major. Jim, we did talk about ADA and the sidewalks, and Mark said that we would work with you all to figure out how to overcome that. So
yeah, I looked into that as well, and I found that almost the exact same where there was a detail actually where it can skinny up to 32 inches for a very brief period before it has to get back to 36. So I think we're okay. And we're putting that on Washington. And we're putting a detail on the East Green Street side that says basically that whenever the 5-foot sidewalk doesn't provide enough clearance from the utility pole, that the additional width will be made up or the additional width will be provided to 36, and then it'll transition back to the 5-foot sidewalk. So you'll see that detail on the plan.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Question, is that something that detail will be ready before it goes to planning commission?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because that would be helpful to show planning
Yes.
commission as well.
Yeah, nope, we'll get it on the plan.
And just to let you know, Jim, that Mark will be doing planning commission, I think, by himself on this month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I will not be there that month, so he'll be
Okay.
doing it all by his lonesome.
And that's that's 2 Tuesdays from now, is that right? Or
No,
next-
it's 2 Thursdays. It's the 21st
2 Thursdays,
at 6 o'clock.
got it.
Sherry just answered me.
And that, Mark, that's up at the old town.
City Hall.
Yeah, where we did the presentation,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else, Andrea?
Nope,
Nope.
that's everything that we have.
I think
Jim,
we're
Mark,
good.
anything else?
Nope.
Nope,
Thank you.
we're
Thank you
good.
both very much.
Thank
Alrighty,
you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.